Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm outside because, well, the shed would be too hot and I decided to do this outside. Now initially I was going to talk about what's on my shirt here, which is a Jeep and why I love Jeeps, but I had a conversation with a good friend who's a content creator as well. And this is a conversation I've had over the years with several people, but mostly with podcasting. But it's expanded, I would say, in the last 2 years to include YouTube content creators, people who write anything creatively, even artistic type of stuff and whatnot, and blogs as well. And that is kind of, when you get into this sort of thing, it's very easy to start looking at what your competitor is doing or what someone who's similar to you is doing. And you can get lost in that, especially if you're competitive, which I am. And I remember for, 2013 to 2014, when we did the Cantina cast, we didn't get much as far as downloads. There would be times where we'd have days and we'd get no downloads or whatever. And then, we got to a point where we both just said to each other, well, we're spinning our wheels. What are we doing wrong? So we looked to the competition to see what they were doing. And we got inspired by it. We saw the things that we liked that they did and kind of our ideas and kind of molded that into what the Cantina cast was. And as time went on, you see, we were like here, and then there was another podcast was up here, and we wanted to be there or past them. And it's not that we had a grudge against those people, not at all. We don't really know them or anything like that, but we took what they were doing and we saw what they were doing, and we're like, all right, well, we're doing our thing, but how do we compete with them and how do we raise our bar up? So we use it for motivation. We improved our audio to sound more like a professional sounding audio, like an actual radio. We did everything in one take, like you would do on radio, even with the flubs or whatever. We tried to be as professional as we could. So we raised the bar. So there is a time when you look at your competitors or people similar to you in whatever creative space you're in, to be inspired and to kind of say, okay, all right, I like what they're doing there. I like how that works. How can we fit it into what we're doing or what I'm doing? But don't copy them, which is funny because last night I was talking about the shed and how it looks like, George Bruno's Van Gogh room, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm trying not to, content-wise, maybe the room looks the same, but content-wise I hope we're completely different. Maybe a little similar, but you want to look to them for inspiration and maybe like how to go about things and kind of learn and make it, mold it into your own thing. It's very easy though, and this happened to us. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've told people before, where you can lose yourself. So from 2015, when we got back from Celebration Anaheim, we got momentum, and then we were building into the Force Awakens, and so we were like, all right, okay. It's a nice cold beer on a hot day. We built up that momentum, but we kept paying attention to our downloads and what they were doing and everything, and we just wanted to be the best. And it hurt us mentally. It drained us. A lot of arguing. We were a good partnership, but we bickered with each other. Other people in the community too. We kind of, we didn't fight with anyone in the community, but we just started looking at them like, they're the enemy and everything, and that was wrong too. And there was some jealousy. My co-host, I know, it really at the time really got to him what others were getting and doing. Me, not so much. I'm not like that. I don't get jealous. I used to in the old days when I was a younger man, but I haven't in a long, long time. But the problem was we focused so much on the downloads and what we're doing here, there, and everywhere else, and whatnot. And at some point, we got to, I'd said, we got to stop. This is going to kill us. And 2016 happened. Rogue One came out, and we probably got a bit of an ego. Not me so much. I tried to stay grounded and humble, but I mean, the numbers we were pulling, it was astonishing. We did 1.2 million downloads in a year. That was just unheard of for us, for where we came from to that in a year. It was nutty. So you get a bit of an ego, and you kind of get a little full of yourself, and you kind of lose yourself. And we did that. And so what ended up happening, well, long story short, is the moral of the tale is you can't focus on what others are doing in the community so much, because you're going to lose yourself, and you're going to be putting yourself against them constantly, and that's what's going to set you up for failure. You're going to keep saying, oh, what are they doing? What are I doing? You're going to kind of keep going back and forth with each other, and it's the problem is your content will suffer, I feel. Again, it's a fine line. You got to look for that inspiration with people. You can't deviate more this way and be more in the competitive side. You got to look more as like inspiration and what you can pull and use and kind of mold it to your own. You can't get sucked into the whole, this is like a death match and we need to fight to the death, or if it's like the Super Bowl, and you need to keep outdoing. Healthy competition is good, where you kind of, and I think there was a bit of that for a while with the podcast that was up here and us, because we were one of the first podcasts that kind of surpassed them on the charts on Apple, which means nothing at the end of the day, but I'll get into that another day. And they kind of changed the way they did a few things too. So it was kind of, we were both getting each other there. And I can see it in the community, the Star Wars podcast, where things are kind of, people have taken what we've done and done their own thing. Some of them have directly ripped us off and copied. So be it. That's just the way life is. It's going to happen. And if you're successful, they're going to do that. People are going to do that. But some people did what we did and molded it to what they wanted to, which is what you need to do. But don't get caught up into the whole hate train type of thing. So what I typically do, and this is going to sound asshole-ish, is I tend to not associate so much with the Star Wars podcasting community. And not that they're bad people or anything like that. I'm sure there are assholes in every section of every content creating. It's like, as I was explaining to my friend, creating content, you're a fan of something and you're passionate about that. Like I was with Star Wars. It could be even the tech people. They're crazy about tech, like what I'm using here. And I hope I'm not shaking the camera too much by banging. But and there's a lot of competition, and you want to stand out and everything. So you tend to focus on others and stuff. And there can be a bit of animosity between each other. So you get those little pockets. So you're taking the fans that are uber fans, ultra passionate fans, as Mark Hamill calls them, and you're breaking it down even smaller to a group of fans that create content about said fandom or whatever the subject may be. And that's even small. And then you get those little pockets, because every fandom has pockets of assholes, right? Like everybody has assholes and everything. It's just the way it is. It's just going to be people that are complete assholes, and you got to deal with them somehow. I tend to use the gray rock method, and I'll explain this in another video, which I want to do at some point. But the gray rock method is to kind of ignore them. Let them spout off their nonsense and come at you with hate or whatever. The more you just kind of ignore them, they kind of get bored and they go away. It's irrelevant. But sometimes the noise is loud, and you can't ignore it. But I would say try to disassociate with the community that you're in, like the little community, as you can. I know it sounds jerkish, but I mean, I only have a handful of people in the Star Wars podcasting community that are not part of EGM or the Cantina Cast that I talk to or would consider friends or some kind of associates, right? Wouldn't go. Then most of the people are nice in the community. Like I said, there's some shitheads, but most of them are good. It's just I need to focus on my stuff, and they should focus on their stuff. So I wouldn't hold it against them, and just focus on my content and what I need to do and what I want to do, and kind of just let them be and do their thing. So that's kind of, I know it sounds jerkish, but that's what I do. That's what I did, and that's how I was able to survive 9+ years of podcasting in Star Wars. Anyway, that's kind of my advice on that. It's just a shame because in each little fandom, like even the tech stuff that you see on YouTube, it's like even in, like if my friend Bob has a channel, but he takes it seriously and he treats it he's treats it like a professional, and he does what he does, but he enjoys what he does. He's not looking to be Casey Neistat or anything. He just loves doing what he does, and I admire that, and this is why my channel's here. If you're getting into something like this, content creating, or whether it's podcasting or YouTube, I'll just use those two because those are the most popular. It's such a mountain to get over in certain niches like tech reviews and stuff, Star Wars podcasts, and there's a million I would say if you started a Star Wars podcast today, you're gonna get drowned out, and it's gonna be tough to stand out and to be found. It's not that it's not possible. I mean, you can get found and be successful and everything. It's just there's so much competition now, and there's so many podcasts out there. If you didn't start I would say back in 2013 when The Force Awakens was announced, so like when Disney bought the rights to Star Wars, you probably aren't going to you kind of missed the bus, so to speak. And I feel even with tech reviews kind of that way too, but I could be wrong. I mean, there are, like for me, for instance, I was big into Star Wars podcasting for a long time, but I got burnt out and I kind of left and gave it to other people to run and do, and they enjoy it. So there's always a chance for you to, one falls, go right back in and do your thing. So I'm not discouraging you from trying to do that, but just kind of, focus on your stuff is basically the bottom line. Don't pay attention to the noise, the white noise. You got to filter it out. Associate with the people that are going to help you and support you and encourage you, and to the people that are just, going to bring you down, say this, or kind of try to take jabs at you, fuck them. Don't pay attention to them. You don't get time for that. You got to edit, you got to create content, show notes, everything. You name it, you got things to do. You don't have time for their bullshit. Focus on what you got to do. Anyway, so what do you guys think of this? That's enough of that. But what do you guys think of being outside doing the show? Whoa, almost had a robin fly into my face. This is something different, but I wanted to do a video tonight, but it's going to be bloody hot in there, and I'm going to go for a swim in a little bit. That's the pool behind me. And I figured, what the heck, why not come out here and just do a little video about this, the kind of the conversation I had with my friend. And I get it, man. It's aggravating, it's frustrating. You just want to have fun and do your thing. And I'll say, if it turns into if it's not giving you any joy, then you kind of gotta step away. I'm not saying give up. One of my favorite apparels, clothing apparel, is Stay the Course. And that's helped me over 9 years of podcasting, because every time I wanted to give up, they would post something good, and that would help me dig deep to find my way and stay the course and not give up. And even now, I'm kind of in this, thing where podcasting isn't much of a joy. This I actually love doing, what I'm doing here, but I'm not going to throw away all that I've built with podcasting. So for me, I need to take a step back, take kind of a sabbatical, rethink things, get re-energized, and then come back to it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Like 3/4 to Play podcast, I haven't done in almost 2 months. Many faces I haven't done in almost 2 years. The basement, which was on Igloo Media, was going for about a year, and Albert kicked it back up and retooled it a bit, and it's pretty cool. So I probably will go back to those things. It's just going to take a little. I had a lot of turmoil with the Cantina cast and keeping it together and staying the course from 2015 to about 2017, and it's amazing that it's still around. But I was lucky that I got Albert and Jonesy to come along and take over, and I've been there for them, getting them there, and but now I need some time to relax myself. So, but anyway, enough of that. I hope you guys enjoyed the outdoors. I don't know how the camera looks. All right, right? This looks like it's all decent, although it's more focused on my face and I'm more exposed correctly, I think. Maybe not. And the background is a little more white. I don't know. But anyway. Well, that's going to do it, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be doing it outside. It's supposed to be a little cooler tomorrow, so maybe I'll be back in the shed. Till then, see you guys tomorrow.